Dearest Enchanted Highness, H-I-G-H, of nirvanic, ecstatic bliss and universal, unspeakable oneness with all that is cosmo-consciousness. I recognize you, my friend. Let me tell you about this student. It's an interesting story. One of my closest students, he used to disrupt my yoga classes. He came especially to be a nuisance. Literally, he employed a repertoire of prepubescent techniques to make everyone else notice him, everyone else to feel inferior to him. Why? Because he was a yoga teacher. He knew it, but no one else did. And he hoped that others would discover that he too was a yoga teacher. Like me, he was in my class. So this was his way of getting their attention, hoping someone would notice and drop the gold question. Are you a yoga teacher too? Oh, yes. I teach there and there. But he couldn't say here, because he did not teach in my yoga studio. He wanted to be teaching there, but what can you do? There were no vacancies. I conducted the class. I had to ignore the antics for a little bit. As long as they did not disturb my class, it's okay. Let him act like a buffoon, like a circus clown, like a performer. Until he became like a petulant toddler, feeling neglect because his antics weren't receiving the commensurate attention. So he started injuring himself, overdoing advanced poses while everyone else would be in a simple forward fold. He'd be hyperextending tendons, chipping off bits of cartilage. If you were quiet enough, you could hear the snaps, the tears, the pops. Eventually, after a year in my class, he could only do 1 or 2 poses without being in excruciating pain. I could see gritting his teeth. That is not how you do yoga. You don't need to be gritting. Not necessary. That is not yoga. That may be powerlifting, I think. But he would hobble in and out. Eventually, he would just sit on the mat for the entire class because he couldn't do the poses. He was a raw, throbbing nerve of pain and inflammation. Finally, I thought, finally I'm breaking him, getting somewhere. He was a hard nut to break, tough one, but break it did. They don't call me a crack addict for nothing. It's what I do best, crack. Then I went to stage 2, apply the honey to catch the bee, like the fisher uses the net to catch the fish. I lavished it. I broke open that comb, let it drop all over him. I did not hold back. His name was Persil. I said, Persil. Oh, he was so astounded that I had addressed him finally after a year, in front of the class. In front of the class. That's the magic. Your lumbar curvature, your thoracic lift and carriage, optimal cervical contours, they all would suggest to me that you'd be the optimal candidate to model poses for my Inner Circle Yoga Illustrated Guide. I'm wondering whether that is something that you may consider doing in the near future, Persil. Oh, I did not need to continue. He blushed sheepishly. If you've seen a sheep blushing, you know exactly what that looks like. His latent desires, to the forefront. You could not stop this from leaking from his every pore of his being. I could read him like, not like a book. Maybe like a book if I was speed reading. No, photo reading. Anyway, He took then the appearance of an adolescent girl who had precociously tasted of some carnal pleasures and then is too abashed to look her amour in the eye. I had to say, Persil, please, people are watching, first of all, and secondly, please stop that. You should be over that stage already. What is wrong with you? I am unaccustomed, Persil, unaccustomed to receiving these looks from men, okay? From women, okay, maybe, but men, no. Persil, I said, it's now getting a little disturbing, so could you please look away? Don't look at me, look away. Maybe we'll try again looking at each other later, when you can look at me like a man, instead of a little girl. He looked at the ground, he looked at the ceiling, the corners, not at me. And then I said, you wish to somehow be involved with inner city yoga, don't you? I think you've wanted that for a while. And then one last desperate reach for dignity and pride. How do you know? He said that. He really did. I don't know why he would do that so close and then had to back away, ruin it for himself. Well, because he was a nut, tough nut, but I was going to crack the nut. How do you know? I see it in your feet, in your toes. That's how I know. My feet? Yes, yes. Look at the clock, Persil. See what time it is? Okay. As long as it took you to tell the time, that's how fast I tell you. Yes, in your feet. You can see. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, in your feet. In your feet, Persil. Yes, 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 yes. I can see in your toes. Okay? Toenails. Cuticles. Heels. I can see it everywhere. Everywhere. It leaks from you. He looked at his toes and recognized that what I spoke was true. Just like his toes had recognized, because they had withdrawn like shy escargots back into their shell, like you tap a slug on the antenna and it retracts. It was like he had two clubs, two stumps in sandals. He confessed, while batting his eyelids again. I said, Persil, we discussed this. Look at me like a man or don't look at me at all. And right now I prefer the at all. It was a precious moment. I had won him over. Let's see what his letter says. I am considering a career as a guru. Okay, must be a joke. What advice must you have for me? Okay, it's funny, Persil. Funny. Yes, advice, Persil? Come to me. I will show you. I'm going to have to do some more crack on you. Crack on you. Persil.